Welcome to the Lagniappe, a little something extra for your health, your family, and your future. Hosted by Caroline Badon, wife, mama, fitness and wellness guru, fashion and iced coffee lover, and the marketing director and podcaster for the Fussell Group. This podcast is your go-to for real conversations, expert insight, and the heart behind the Fussell Group's mission. Because life's not just about getting by, it's about showing up with purpose and serving the community with what matters. Let's get into it. Hey y'all, and welcome back to the Lagniappe. Today, we're here to give you a little something extra about Medicare and VA benefits and how they work together. I'm here with Tracey and Janard, two of our licensed insurance agents for the Fussell Group, and we are going to give you all of the info you need to know about VA and Medicare benefits. Thank you guys so much for joining.
No problem. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so let's get into it. One of the biggest misconceptions out there is that you can't have VA benefits and Medicare, or that you have VA benefits and you don't need Medicare. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Right. And so I think, Tracey, you would agree all the time we hear Medicare recipients say that they have the VA and therefore they're good. But the VA is limited. Let's consider if you were out of town and you needed emergency care and you couldn't get to a VA facility and you don't have Medicare, then you're kind of on your own.
Right.
Also, a lot of people don't realize that the VA and Medicare are kind of separate entities. They act on their own thing. The VA doesn't have proper dental, vision, and hearing, which in a Medicare would cover that on an Advantage plan.
Right. Good point. Good point. So you hear that often, I'm sure. And what's the first thing you tell them?
That you can have both.
Yeah.
They are two separate
And you
entities.
need both,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you share a time where maybe one of your clients didn't have Medicare and it caused a headache or made something worse, like an actual situation that you dealt with in person, hands-on, and how you solved it?
Oh, yeah. I can remember a client, they actually had a heart attack and they were not close to their VA. So they went into the hospital and everything. And because they didn't have Medicare Part A, because they didn't have Medicare Part B, they ended up having to pay for that hospitalization. And a lot of people don't realize that. Besides the fact that VA doesn't cover every emergency room. Some
Right.
emergency rooms are not covered if it's not truly an emergency life or death situation.
And that's a big bill.
That's a huge bill.
And that's where Medicare comes into play to pick up
Exactly.
those things that the VA doesn't cover.
Exactly.
Yeah, and especially in emergency situations, like you said, when they can't get to a VA hospital.
Mhm.
So having Medicare Part A, Part B, and even an Advantage or a supplement prescription drug plan, anything like that. But speaking about prescription drug plans, a lot of people get their prescriptions through the VA.
Yes.
Is there a situation there where it would benefit to have a Medicare prescription drug plan? Do you suggest that they just do a Medicare Advantage plan without the prescription drugs?
Yeah, it just really depends on the veteran. If we're talking about a veteran that has TRICARE for life, then certainly that veteran has prescription drugs coverage built into their plan. Champ VA does a really good job, but they're not all inclusive. Champ VA doesn't accept, depending on the level of this disability that the veteran has, Champ VA may not fully accept all the prescription drugs that a veteran is taking. I haven't seen them deny very many claims. However, if a veteran does not have TRICARE for life, then I would probably steer most likely the veteran to a Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage.
So just because I don't know all of these things, and I'm assuming our viewers probably won't know these things either, can you kind of break down the levels of VA benefits? Like you're saying Champ VA, TRICARE for life, like what are all the different things that are kind of like Medicaid has different levels, right? Is it
Sure.
kind of the same thing?
Absolutely. So TRICARE for life just means that a veteran has served their country, they have received the retirement, they have an honorable discharge, and they're retired. And so the VA will basically take care of the veteran for life as far as their medical bills are concerned. And so that's TRICARE for life. TRICARE for life, the VA assumes the full responsibility for the veteran and their Medicare. And so they're essentially covered. Champ VA, however, the VA does not necessarily, it's a lower level, so the VA does not necessarily have to accept full responsibility for the body unless the veteran has a disability in which the VA has identified and diagnosed and prescribed specific medication or treatment for a veteran. And so if a veteran is, let's just say they're 50% disabled, then the VA has a responsibility to treat the 50% of disability in which the military has caused.
Gotcha.
A
Okay.
lot of people don't realize that just because you're a veteran doesn't automatically mean you'll be able to use the VA.
Exactly.
Explain that.
But there are a lot of income levels. There are a bunch of different levels of the VA that a lot of people don't even realize. But you are definitely not just automatically granted access to the VA because you're a veteran.
Can we dive into that, or should that be a different episode?
That should be a different episode because it is very complicated. Like I said, it does have to do with salaries and incomes and a bunch of other things.
Okay. So Medicare's confusing. It's overwhelming to seniors.
Absolutely.
It's like alphabet soup, A, B, C, D, all the things. If you get into supplements, there's even more letters. How do y'all simplify the process for your veteran clients?
Sure. So what I normally do is I need to find out what level the veteran has, meaning what level VA does the veteran receive? Are they a TRICARE for Life veteran? Because then I'm steered to a different plan. Are they a CHAMP VA veteran with no disability assigned outside of maybe 10 or 20%? Or did they just serve their country and they don't have any disability? So
Right.
once I've categorized the veteran in those categories, then now I know how to best direct them to the plan to make sure that they have all-encompassing coverage.
Okay.
We also want to discuss whether or not they do want a prescription drug plan, like we talked about. A lot of veterans, now the prescription drug plan is credible coverage, and they don't have to have the Part D.
Right.
Aside from that. However, you have to go get your prescriptions from the VA.
Right.
Some people might want the option to go to their local Walgreens or their local Walmart to pick up their prescriptions.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That would be where the prescription drug plan would go.
Convenience.
Very convenient.
Yeah. And I think another thing to touch on too, like you mentioned at the beginning of the show, is just VA doesn't have like the dental, vision, hearing.
Correct.
All of that comes along with a Medicare plan as well. So
Gym membership.
Gym membership.
A lot of the veterans want to stay fit.
Over-the-counter benefits.
Over-the-counter benefits, all that
Yeah.
is included.
And I'll even add, we have some clients that may be TRICARE for Life, right? And the VA accepts full responsibility for their body and they can get any treatment that they need over there, but they just don't want to go to the VA.
Right.
I've met clients that are TRICARE for Life and they do not want to go to the VA for whatever it be, past history or prior service, or that the wait times are just too long.
It's not a very convenient route to go, to be honest with you.
And like you said, even if they have TRICARE for Life, the Medicare still comes into play, especially emergency-wise.
Absolutely.
So that's a good point. Let's get back to the heart of it. Why does this matter? What's the real-life impact on a soldier / senior when they get this right?
I think it could be life-changing. I think they can use both this dual system, this dual mechanism to their advantage, right? Why have one when you can have two? You have the VA. The VA is its own entity. It's going to work for you. However, you can have this backup system or this system that you can utilize as a primary system, be it Medicare, that you also qualify for. Now the VA requires you to have Part A and Part B. So as a senior, you already have to have Part A and Part B to be seen at the VA now.
Okay,
and so if you have to have Part A and Part B, then you're now Medicare qualified.
Right.
And as a Medicare recipient, you're just wasting an additional benefit, not signing up for some type of Medicare plan where you may have additional benefits.
Right. Dental, vision, hearing.
Exactly.
All of those
Absolutely.
things. And freedom. That's really what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Let's take it back to the heart of it all, freedom. They have the freedom to see more doctors, go to the different pharmacies, all of that. Not that the VA is not a good thing, because it is, and we're thankful that this is an option. However, it makes the network so much smaller.
Not only that, but as veterans, we have a special kindred toward the veteran, being like a brotherhood, that we want to make sure that they have the best of both worlds if possible.
I love that.
So,
Love it. Before we wrap it up, what would you like to say as a veteran to a veteran who's listening and still unsure about adding Medicare to their VA benefits?
Ask questions.
most definitely.
Sometimes you meet a veteran and there's this assumption posture where they are confident in what they know, but they don't know what they don't know. So ask questions. It doesn't hurt to sit down with a Medicare advisor. It doesn't hurt to sit down with an expert, someone that can guide you in the direction that you may need to go and help steer you for your future Medicare.
Right. And you've served the country and you've fought for our freedom. So why not use all of the benefits that are available to you?
Absolutely.
Correct.
Y'all, that's what I love about this team. It's not just insurance, it's about caring for people. Y'all care so much about our fellow Medicare recipients and veterans and seniors, and it's just why we're here and why we love it. So to our veterans, thank you for your service. Let us serve you and let us help you make these decisions and make sure that you're getting all of the benefits that you deserve and that that are available to you. So if you want to sit down with one of our agents, call us anytime. Our Covington office number is 985-875-7407. That can be rerouted to any of our offices in the state of Louisiana. And until next time on the Lagniappe, where we give you a little something extra, see you soon. Thanks for joining us on the Lagniappe. We hope today gave you the little something extra that you needed. Be sure to subscribe, share this with a friend, and follow us on social at FGIALA for more tools to live well and make the right decisions for your health and future. Until next time, stay golden, stay the course, and never forget, we'll be there for you.